Sean had to take responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that.
And that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally.
Sean Diddy Combs, once a towering figure in the hip-hop world, now finds himself locked behind the walls of Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center. His life inside has become a swirling storm of fear, paranoia, and survival instincts. The platinum-selling music mogul, facing a slew of charges that have shocked the industry, is reportedly refusing to touch the meals served to him in prison. Why? Because Diddy believes that someone might be plotting to poison him. Yes, you heard that right, poison. And if the whispers and murmurs making their way out of the prison walls are to be believed, his fears may not be entirely unfounded.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
Let's set the stage. The Metropolitan Detention Center, or MDC, is not exactly known for its hospitality. This prison has been the subject of countless exposes detailing its harsh, often dangerous conditions. Inmates there have a reputation for being resourceful, and the facility itself has a long history of violence, corruption, and mysterious inmate demises. For someone like Diddy, whose current notoriety stems from allegations of some of the most controversial and headline-grabbing crimes, the risks are amplified tenfold. His fame, combined with the serious nature of the charges against him, has essentially painted a target on his back.
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
But it's not just the prison itself that has Diddy on edge. Enter Larry Levine, a former inmate turned prison consultant, who has commented publicly on Diddy's situation. Levine, speaking on the Daily Mail's podcast dedicated to the unfolding drama, speculated that Diddy's fame and the enemies he has potentially made over the years might make him an easy mark. According to Levine, people want to hurt him. What happens if someone on the outside knows someone on the inside? Over time, they could tamper with his food and harm him. It's a chilling thought, but one that has gained traction as observers note the lengths to which high-profile figures must go to protect themselves behind bars. Diddy's refusal to eat prison meals is not just paranoia, it's strategy. Observers have noted a dramatic change in his physical appearance over the past 3 months. He looks thinner, frailer, and even older, with his signature swagger replaced by what some describe as a haunted demeanor. And yet, those close to him insist that he's staying sharp, fueled by commissary snacks like honey buns and packaged chips, which at least give him some semblance of control over what he's consuming. These items, purchased from the prison's commissary, are considered safer because they come pre-packaged and sealed. For Diddy, that seal might be the only thing standing between him and a potential threat.
He is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, it is scary because you think, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your career.
But who exactly would want to harm Diddy in such a calculated manner? This is where things get murky. Some speculate that it's a matter of prison politics, resentment from other inmates due to his celebrity status and his alleged crimes. Others believe the danger could come from outside the prison, orchestrated by individuals with a vested interest in silencing him. And then there's the most sensational theory of all, that one of Diddy's former allies, someone who knows him well and has just as much to lose, might be behind the alleged threats.
If you say the wrong thing or you complain or I don't know, there's an element where you're just, I guess manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say a bad thing, or when they're constantly asking, would you like to do drugs? And you're like, well, I don't do drugs. And they're like, well, why don't you do drugs?
Enter Jay-Z, the billionaire rapper and businessman who has been entangled in a web of controversy alongside Diddy. The two were once seen as titans of hip-hop, collaborators who shared a mutual respect and a vision for transcending the music industry. But in recent months, their relationship has been thrust under a microscope with rumors of betrayal, bad blood, and even legal jeopardy circling like vultures. Could it be that their long-standing friendship has devolved into something far more sinister? The allegations against Diddy have created ripple effects that touch everyone in his orbit, including Jay-Z. As more details surface, it has become increasingly clear that the legal troubles facing Diddy are not just his own. Jay-Z's name has been dragged into the fray, most notably in connection to a lawsuit that accuses both men of events that allegedly occurred decades ago. While Jay-Z has vehemently denied any wrongdoing, the mere mention of his name in such a context has been enough to send shockwaves through the media and the public.
And they're gonna cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house if he get the bare minimum. So now what he's gonna do is they either gonna say, yo.
But here's where things get interesting. Sources close to the situation claim that Jay-Z has been working overtime to distance himself from Diddy, going so far as to publicly deny any meaningful connection to his former friend. According to an insider, Jay-Z would absolutely do whatever it takes to protect himself, even if it means throwing Diddy under the bus. This sentiment was echoed by Jay-Z's attorney, who has been vocal in dismissing any suggestion that the two men share a bond beyond their past collaborations. There is no friendship or long-time bond here. The lawyer said in a recent interview, a statement that many interpreted as a clear attempt to disassociate Jay-Z from the mounting scandals surrounding Diddy. But could there be more to Jay-Z's actions than simple self-preservation? Some observers believe that Jay-Z's distancing is not just about protecting his reputation, it's about survival. If the rumors are true, Diddy may have information that could implicate Jay-Z in ways that go beyond the current lawsuits. And if that's the case, eliminating Diddy, whether figuratively or literally, could be seen as a way to prevent that information from ever seeing the light of day.
Jay-Z got his whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got it after. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped.
It's a scenario ripped straight out of a Hollywood thriller. Two former allies turned enemies, each holding secrets that could destroy the other. In this context, Diddy's fear of being poisoned takes on a new dimension. It's not just about avoiding a bad meal or a potential allergic reaction, it's about staying alive long enough to defend himself in court. And while there's no concrete evidence to suggest that Jay-Z is involved in any plot against Diddy, the timing of their fallout and the high stakes of their respective legal battles make for a tantalizing narrative.
Any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand. That's why a lot of those rappers, that's why a lot of those athletes, they not saying nothing and they quiet as a church mouse. Because now...
Of course, not everyone buys into the theory that Jay-Z might be behind Diddy's alleged fears. Some argue that Diddy's paranoia is a natural response to his circumstances. After all, anyone in his position, facing serious charges, denied bail, and housed in a facility known for its dangers, would likely be on edge. Others point to Diddy's history of larger-than-life behavior and suggest that his refusal to eat prison meals might be a calculated move to gain sympathy and control the narrative. Still, the speculation persists. And as more details emerge about the dynamics between Diddy and Jay-Z, the lines between fact and fiction continue to blur. What is clear, however, is that the once unbreakable bond between these two icons of hip-hop has been shattered, leaving behind a trail of questions, suspicions, and unresolved tensions. As the drama unfolds, one can't help but wonder, is Diddy's fear of poisoning a genuine concern, rooted in the harsh realities of prison life, or is it part of a larger power struggle playing out behind the scenes? And if someone truly is out to get him, how far would they go to ensure his silence? These are the questions that keep fans and observers glued to every new development in this saga, a story that seems to grow more complex with each passing day.
You know, even if the accusations are false, there's two ways to go about these cases. Either one, you do the economic analysis, right? What is this going to cost me? Where is it going? How much am I going to lose? All these different things, even if it's false, right? How much are the attorneys going to cost me?
And so, Diddy sits in his cell, relying on prepackaged snacks and sheer determination to navigate the treacherous waters of life behind bars. Meanwhile, Jay-Z, insulated by his wealth and influence, continues to fight his own battles, all while maintaining a carefully curated public image. It's a high-stakes game of survival, with both men seemingly willing to do whatever it takes to come out on top. But in a world where alliances crumble and secrets are currency, the real question is, who will make the next move?
a lot of times lawsuits are like playing poker. Like you even when you feign, that you have strength, it could be that you have some weakness in your case. So Busby's never going to say that he doesn't have the evidence. I mean, Busby's always going to say he's got the evidence. He's always going to say, oh, we're going to look at multiple other people. We're going to do all this, because he wants to put that fear into that individual, because he thinks.
The story of Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z isn't just a tale of two hip-hop legends rising to the top. It's a saga of friendship, betrayal, and power struggles that feels ripped straight out of a blockbuster drama. Their relationship, once seen as a symbol of camaraderie and mutual respect between two of the most successful figures in the music industry, has now become the subject of whispers, speculation, and outright accusations. But how did we get here? How did two men who once celebrated each other's victories find themselves on opposite sides of a bitter divide? To understand the breakdown, we need to go back to the beginning. Diddy and Jay-Z didn't just cross paths, they ran in the same circles, built empires side by side, and, for a time, represented the pinnacle of what was possible for artists breaking free of the mold. Diddy, with his larger-than-life personality, seemed unstoppable in the 1990s. He turned Bad Boy Records into a cultural phenomenon, gave the world unforgettable hits, and was known for his lavish parties and fearless ambition. Jay-Z, on the other hand, played it cool, an understated hustler who built Rockefeller Records from the ground up and turned his sharp lyrics into a blueprint for a billion-dollar empire. Together, they were hip-hop royalty, and for years, their friendship was as much a part of their public persona as their music.
I'm not surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the two previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee. He has a civil back.
But the cracks began to show long before anyone noticed. While the two often appeared to support one another publicly, insiders have long whispered about a rivalry simmering beneath the surface. For years, they competed not just in music, but in influence, wealth, and status. Forbes lists often ranked them neck and neck, with Diddy holding the title of hip-hop's wealthiest mogul at one point, only to be overtaken by Jay-Z in later years. It wasn't just about money, though. Both men built their brands to transcend music. Diddy with his ventures into fashion, television, and Jay-Z with his record label, streaming service, and lucrative partnerships. On the surface, it seemed like friendly competition, but some say the tension between them was far more personal.
I agree, and the risk of flight was always going to be a tough argument for the government, because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering. They had much more evidence.
One of the earliest signs of trouble came in the mid-2000s. Diddy was known for his extravagant lifestyle, private jets, yacht parties, and outlandish spending that cemented his image as the ultimate entertainer. Jay-Z, however, began to distance himself from that image, leaning into a more calculated, business-focused persona. He wanted to be seen as a visionary, someone who could sit at the table with tech CEOs and global leaders. Over time, some say Jay-Z began to look down on Diddy's flashier approach, viewing it as outdated and reckless. Friends of the two have hinted that Jay-Z's growing disdain for Diddy's antics may have driven a wedge between them, though neither man has ever spoken openly about it.
Well, Combs is separated from the general population, right? He's with, or was with, Sam Bankman-Fried at least, and the irony there is that's someone who was granted bail, tried to tamper with witnesses, so the judge revoked his bail. So that just goes to show how these federal judges feel about witness tampering before trial.
Still, their mutual respect seemed to endure, for a while at least. They appeared together at events, spoke highly of each other in interviews, and even collaborated on music. In 2009, Diddy spoke about a moment captured in a photo at one of his birthday parties, where Jay-Z flew in just to celebrate with him. "People see us as competitors," Diddy said at the time, but that was a moment of two brothers telling each other how much they appreciate each other. It was a sentiment that seemed sincere, but in hindsight, it might have been one of the last moments of genuine camaraderie between them. As the years went on, their paths began to diverge even more dramatically. Jay-Z's marriage to Beyoncé elevated him to a level of cultural reverence that few could match. Together, they were untouchable, America's power couple with a carefully curated image of perfection. Diddy, meanwhile, continued to make headlines for his high-profile relationships and occasional controversies. While Jay-Z was busy building a streaming empire with Tidal and brokering deals with major corporations, Diddy was throwing million-dollar parties and sparring with rivals in the media. It wasn't just a difference in style, it was a difference in priorities. And for Jay-Z, aligning himself too closely with Diddy may have started to feel like a liability.
What it shows, what the the complaint is illustrating is this completely out of control party on a super yacht, including various celebrities, that when you read it, it kind of rings true. I mean, when you read it, it doesn't come off as being something that's...
Then came the lawsuits. When allegations against Diddy first began to surface, many were shocked, but not everyone was surprised. Rumors about Diddy's behavior had swirled for years, and while he had always managed to brush them off, the sheer volume of accusations became impossible to ignore. For Jay-Z, the timing couldn't have been worse. He had spent years cultivating an image of integrity and business acumen, and the last thing he needed was to be associated with someone whose reputation was unraveling in real time. Publicly, Jay-Z remained silent, but behind the scenes, sources say he began to take steps to distance himself from Diddy.
I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it, it's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
The turning point came when Jay-Z's name was dragged into one of the lawsuits against Diddy. The accusations were shocking, to say the least, and while Jay-Z has vehemently denied any involvement, the damage to his reputation was already done. According to insiders, Jay-Z was furious, not just at the allegations, but at the fact that his name was being linked to Diddy's growing list of legal troubles. Jay-Z would absolutely throw Diddy under the bus if that is what it took to clear his name and walk away from this. He has zero loyalty to Diddy, one source claimed, and in many ways, that's exactly what he's done.
He, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down.
In recent months, Jay-Z has gone out of his way to paint a picture of distance between himself and Diddy. His attorney has publicly stated that there is no friendship or longtime bond between the two, a stark contrast to the brotherly love they once professed for one another. Even Beyoncé has reportedly been advising her husband to stay as far away from Diddy as possible, fearing the potential fallout from being associated with someone whose brand is now synonymous with controversy. But the split wasn't just about self-preservation. It was about control. Jay-Z has always been a master strategist, and some believe his efforts to distance himself from Diddy are part of a larger plan to solidify his own legacy. By cutting ties with Diddy, Jay-Z positions himself as the antithesis to the chaos and controversy that now surround his former friend. It's a calculated move, one that speaks to Jay-Z's ability to adapt and evolve in ways that Diddy, for all his charisma, has struggled to match.
Now, with respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress.
Of course, Diddy isn't taking this lying down. Sources close to him say he feels betrayed by Jay-Z's actions and is determined to fight back. While Diddy has remained mostly quiet about their falling out, those in his inner circle suggest that he views Jay-Z's behavior as opportunistic and cold. They were supposed to have each other's backs, one insider said, but when things got tough, Jay-Z turned his back on him. The tension between them has only escalated as new allegations and lawsuits continue to surface. Jay-Z, for his part, has doubled down on his efforts to clear his name, filing motions to dismiss claims against him, and publicly condemning the accusations as baseless. Meanwhile, Diddy remains behind bars, reportedly paranoid and fearful for his life. It's a dramatic reversal of fortunes for two men who once seemed untouchable, and it's a story that continues to captivate the public.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right?
What makes this saga so compelling is the sheer complexity of their relationship. This isn't just a simple case of two former friends falling out. It's a high-stakes game of power, influence, and survival. Both men have built their careers on their ability to navigate the cutthroat world of music and business, but now they find themselves on opposite sides of a battle that could define their legacies. For Diddy, it's about fighting to stay alive, both literally and figuratively. For Jay-Z, it's about protecting his empire and ensuring that his name remains untarnished. As the story unfolds, one thing is clear. The friendship that once defined Diddy and Jay-Z's relationship is long gone, replaced by a rivalry that is as bitter as it is fascinating. Whether they'll ever reconcile, or whether their feud will only deepen as more revelations come to light, remains to be seen. But for now, the world is watching, and the drama shows no signs of slowing down.
I don't know I don't know the consequences of what that could have been. So I didn't really talk about it. I should have gone to the police. I should have said something other than to my agent. I'm just thankful that there was somebody there. There was somebody at that party who helped me, because I could have ended up in a really bad situation.
As the curtain falls on this chapter of Diddy and Jay-Z's saga, viewers are left with a whirlwind of questions and speculations. Could Jay-Z truly be involved in the alleged threats against Diddy, or is this all a product of prison paranoia? And if Diddy does have incriminating information, how far will he go to protect himself? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama. Until next time, stay tuned and keep the conversation going.